Welcome to So On Brand, the podcast where wellness, mindset, and branding come together to empower ambitious female entrepreneurs and network marketers who are here to stand out and level up. I'm your host, Baylee Stewart, and I'm on a mission to help you build a brand that commands attention, establish authority, and step into the healthiest and wealthiest you. If you're ready to become the best version of yourself, stand firm in your authenticity, and bring in some serious cash flow, then you're in the right place, babe. I'm so happy you're here. Let's do this. Welcome to episode 1. You guys, I can't believe that I'm even saying this. I can't believe that I'm sitting here in front of a mic right now. Like, literally, if you would have told me 5 years ago that I would have even thought to have a podcast or that I even listened to podcasts, I probably would have told you you're crazy. And up until like a year ago, I would never have even thought that I had enough things to talk about to have a podcast. And there's still some days that I think I don't, but I just feel like I have so much value that I want to bring people, and podcasts are just such an incredible way to connect with so many more people, and in a way that's not necessarily social media based, right? So this podcast is called So On Brand because I wanted somewhere that I could talk about all the different multifaceted parts of my brand. My brand is extremely diverse. I do a lot of different things. I absolutely love every single thing that I do, but there's a lot of it. And I truly believe that over all of the different schooling and classes, and I truly believe that over all of the different schooling and classes and masterminds and trainings that I have done over the years, I just have so much random like bits and pieces of knowledge that have come together into this beautiful brand and this beautiful just toolkit of things that I have to bring to the people who follow me and the people who trust me. And I don't take that lightly, and it's something that I really want to just get out into the world. So that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're here to do. I wanted this first episode to be like a little bit of a get to know me type of vibe. So we're just gonna get into a little bit of like how I got to this point of starting this podcast and how I got to this point that I'm in with my business and my brand right now. So this all started kind of back in like 2012, okay? I really wanted to help people. I was in high school at this point, okay? I'm 30 years old right now. So back in 2012, I was in high school and I just knew that I wanted to help people. And everyone kept asking me like, what are you going to college for? What are you going to do with your life? You know, all the things that we get asked when we are in high school. And I truly had no idea what I wanted to do, but I just knew that I wanted to help people, you know, and so literally I Googled, and this probably sounds so crazy, but I Googled, I was like, what is the most like helpful career? Like, what is the career where you can help the most people, where you can make the biggest impact? And I didn't say it in those words. I probably just was like, where can I change the most lives? Probably is what I said back then. I can't remember. But doctor came up and, you know, I was like, no. Teacher came up and I was like, no, absolutely not. Like, those just weren't things that, you know, were going to fit the bill for me. Doctor, I'm smart, but I don't know that I have that much dedication for 8 years of school. And I don't know that I have that kind of smart, that kind of a smart brain. And then teacher came up and I don't have the patience for that. I think it takes a very special, amazing human to be a teacher, and that just was not me at the time. And then after all this searching, I found social worker. And I was like, oh my gosh. And as I researched what a social worker is, because I had no idea, I was like, oh my gosh, they help with children that are in the foster care system. They help with reuniting families. They can help with getting children out of bad situations. And for those of you who know me, my dad was adopted. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a full circle moment for me. Like that's what I want to do. And so from literally that day, I was certain of it. I was certain of it. I went into my freshman year of college, declared major, and a lot of people advise against that, but I knew, okay? I knew that's what I wanted to do. When I said that I wanted to be a social worker, everyone that was close to me was like, are you sure? Are you sure that's what you want to do? And I was like, yeah, what are you talking about? Like, of course that's what I want to do. Of course I'm sure. And I like did not think twice about it, but everyone in my life was like, yeah, you're a great person. Yes, you can make a huge impact. Like, I have just the biggest heart. And they were like, we see that. We don't know if you have what it takes to be a social worker. My family, we're realists up in here, okay? And they always have supported me, and they always will. If I said I wanted to be president of the United States, they would have said, okay, we'll support you in it. We're not sure if that's for you, but we'll support you in it. So with that being said, they still are realists, and they're like, are you sure that's what's for you? And I was like, yeah, dude, like, of course. I don't know what you guys are all making a fuss about. Like, this is what's meant for me. So fast forward, about halfway through my senior year, I realized that it was not for me. And I was in it, you guys. I was 3.5 years in, and I was about to graduate. I was in the last semester of my final year of the social work program to get my bachelor's. Like, I was in it, okay? And I realized I didn't want to do it. And so I just kept trying to hide that and push that down. And it ended up working out to where Cole and I, my husband, for those of you who are just now listening that don't know him, he moved to Denver. And I realized that licensure was different there. Basically anything that I wanted to do outside of Child and Family Services, like DFS, outside of that, I had to have a master's degree. And I could not find a job to, fit like my qualifications with my bachelor's. And I did not want to go back to school. I was not going to go back to school. And the thing is, if I would have gone back to school, I would have gone back to school for something that I wasn't really sure about. Like, I already was like halfway through my senior year, do I even want to do this? I don't think it's for me. But I kept trying to like suppress those feelings and just push through. I was like, well, you got a 4-year degree, you spent money, you got a scholarship, you worked really hard for this. And so I just kept trying to push it down. And so going back to school for something that I was already feeling a little bit iffy about, it's just like, more money, more time. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. And that's like the whole scam of college, in my opinion. But we'll get into that whole conversation another day. So for the next couple of years, I did odds and ends jobs and, just really couldn't find my place. And I felt like such a failure. And I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I just went to school for 4 years. I spent all of this time and I couldn't find a job in my field, even if I wanted to, but I also don't think that I want to, So I finally found a job at a dentistry. I worked there, front desk. I was like, this is the life. Like 9 to 5, I am good to go. I get weekends off, holidays off. There's not a lot expected of me outside of my business hours. Like, this is the move. And I liked it. It was great. Until, it wasn't. And I decided that I wanted something different. And at that point, I had really, really, really been diving into like my love for fitness. And this is something that I found during college. I found a huge passion for weightlifting. I found a huge passion for helping other people. All my girlfriends and I, we would go work out together. I would write the workouts. I would literally study outside of all of my study hours for college. I would study the body. I would study workouts. I would study BMR and calories and, nutrition. And I took some extra nutrition courses at college even. Like, this is where I really found my passion. But I always just wanted to keep it that, my passion. I didn't want to turn it into my job. But things just kept coming up that were like calling me to go and get certified and actually pull the trigger. And it started because I was working at a gym I was working out at a gym where I was absolutely obsessed. Everyone there was amazing. They had top of the line personal trainers. Everyone knew their stuff. They were such high caliber, like personal trainer. It was just insane. And I wanted to work there. So I ended up getting the opportunity to go and get my certification and end up working for this gym. And it was incredible. And I worked there for a while and I absolutely loved my job. But I was driving to 3 different cities within Colorado daily. And I also was not even making what I made at my job at the dentistry. And it was hard because I finally found something. It felt like my life kept flip-flopping. I had something that was good income that I hated, and then I moved to something else that was okay income that I kind of liked, but then it started to get stale, and then I ended up moving to something that I absolutely loved that just wasn't paying the bills. And my husband, for those of you who don't know, he is a petroleum engineer. And so he works really, really weird hours. And it was just really hard starting out our marriage, never seeing each other. We were literally like ships in the night. I never got to see him. It was rare that we would get 30 minutes together really quick, to eat dinner and say a couple words together and kiss each other goodnight. And that was it. And that was really hard for me because growing up, I always had my parents home for dinner. I always got to see them together. They came to every game of mine. They were just always there. And I kept thinking, I'm like, if this is how our marriage is starting out, what's it going to look like when we have kids? Like, I can't continue to do that. So from there, it became my mission to figure out a way that I could make enough money to where I could cut my hours at the gym, or I wanted to figure out a way to make some extra money so that I could at least drop one of the places that I was working. I was working at 3 different gyms, and I was like, if I could just drop one and only drive to one different city a day, that would be great. So that's kind of how it started out. And I had a really good friend who I met in my very first network marketing business. I did this right out of high school. I knew absolutely nothing, had zero success, spent way more money than I made. I had the whole typical MLM story that a lot of people have, okay? And so I met her through that, and she brought to me an opportunity that I was very hesitant to take, but I was also not in the position to say no to anything because I wasn't happy with where I was. So I ended up looking into it. Cole looked into it with me, and he was like, you know what, the numbers are there. This looks like it could be something that, it makes sense financially, it makes sense on paper, but is it something that you can do? Do you have the confidence to do this? And I was like, yeah, I do. If you think that this is going to be a thing, I can do whatever. If you think that this is a smart business decision and financial decision, which he did. So then we went into that, and I was able to, within a year, completely replace my personal training income. My vision went from being a little bit of extra money to cut down hours to, what if this could be my full-time gig and I could then match Cole's schedule? And it's no longer we go from 30 minutes a day to maybe 3 hours a day. It was what if we went from on his days off or my days off, and when he gets to travel, I get to travel, and when he's eating dinner and going to bed, I get to eat dinner and go to bed. That's where my vision kind of grew, and that's when I really caught the vision of this industry of network marketing, and it's so powerful, and I truly believe that every single human in the world can benefit from this. Not every single human in the world will, then not everyone will do it, but everyone could do it. And it was just a light bulb moment for me, and within another 6 months, I had doubled and then tripled my income that I was seeing from personal training, and I went full-time and just skyrocketed. And it was the most fun, exciting, rewarding period of my life at that time. And I just thought things couldn't get any better. And I was making a great full-time income from it. I wasn't making anything crazy. We weren't on the brink of bringing home hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything like that, you guys. It was just a normal, steady income with a very good schedule. And that's all I wanted. And after I was there for a little bit, that vision continued to grow, and then it did turn into, well, what if I could make $10,000 a month? What if I could make $20,000 a month? And my vision and my confidence in the industry and in that specific business just kept growing. And I don't know where things went wrong, but at some point down the line, about 5 years in, I started to get so drained. I started to get extremely burnt out. I started to become extremely unaligned with the company and with the people that, some of the mentorship and leadership within the company. And I wasn't agreeing with a lot of the decisions that were being made at the corporate level. And if you guys know me, one thing about me is that I'm going to tell it how it is. And I couldn't grow my business. I had no ability within myself to grow a business at a place that I didn't feel confident in anymore. And when people ask me how things are going, I have no setting within me other than truth. like truly. And so I was like, it's not great. Like, I'm not happy, and my team's not growing, and my girls aren't having success. And that's the biggest thing, because when you start to grow a team and you start to bring on other people and you hear their goals and you learn who they are and their family and you meet their family, and these goals literally become part of you and your goals. And so then, for me to be over here like, well, things are fine for me, but like, sorry, they suck for you. Like, that just didn't feel good in my heart. And I didn't feel confident bringing new people into a space that was happening. And so I kind of started to look at other different like options. And I was like, what can I do to start a business where I can still be my own boss, but I can really start to, see other ways that I can bring value to people. And I actually did a poll on my Instagram, and I was like, what do you guys want to learn from me? Like, what do you feel that I am qualified in, right? Because in my mind at that time, I was still kind of stuck in this like, well, my degree is in social work. Do I just go back to social work? But then every single time I would literally say that out loud, my body would be like, my God, no, please, like, absolutely not. So I just was looking for other options. And every single person that came to me wanted advice on how to grow a brand, how to build and establish themselves on social, because I had built a platform at this point, and just how I did social media. That was like the biggest thing. It kind of just grew. At first it was like, how do you edit your pictures? And then it turned into, how do you create a cohesive feed? And then it turned into questions about bio. And then it turned into questions about SEO. And then it turned into questions about the strategy behind posting and how to like attract followers and how to turn followers into buyers and converting. Like, it really grew quickly into this amazing opportunity. And over the past like year, the last year that I had in my company, I had really dove into like all kinds of training. I paid for absolutely anything I could find that would teach me and help me refine my skills, because I was still grasping on to trying to make my last company work. And I was like, it must be something I'm doing. How can I become a better leader? How can I show up better on social? And so I invested so much time and money into figuring out how I could grow there so that I could then teach that to my girls and help them see success. That was the goal. And it just wasn't working. And so then when this happened and people were coming to me for these things, I was like, oh my gosh, all of this money and time that I've invested into creating my own platform and establishing presence and establishing authority and kind of positioning myself as a person of credibility in that space online, I was like, wow, it just paid off. So literally on New Year's Eve of 2023, I reached out to this girl I had been following and I said, I want to hire you as my business coach. I'm ready. Let's go. I paid her $3,000 that day, and the rest was history. I'm still working with her to this day. And she helped me lay out a business plan. She helped me turn all of my ideas. I'm a visionary, and I have so many cool ideas, but I need help executing. And so that's exactly what she did. I literally laid out a business plan. She helped me know exactly how to get started. She helped me know exactly what I needed to invest in, what programs I needed, how to have people pay me. I set up a Stripe account. Like, it was go time. And I built and launched a brand new business. And it was incredible. It was my favorite thing that I've ever done. And I was coaching female entrepreneurs and women and network marketers on how to build a brand, establish authority in their space, and basically develop a platform online. It was so successful. I had a mastermind where we did 12-week group coaching. The women in there were incredible, and the growth in there was so fun to watch and be part of. And it was just the best thing ever. And I was like, this is it. So when I decided that I was like, at this point, I had one foot out of the industry in network marketing. I was like, you know what? I had to launch this because it needed to push me to where I knew I needed to go, but I wasn't ready for. And I did it. And so at this point, with one foot in and one foot out of the industry, I was like, I think I'm done here. And I started having to really think about how I was going to talk to the people that I brought into this space about why I couldn't stay there. And it was a really heavy and emotional time for me. Every single time I said that I wanted to leave that industry, something pulled me back. And something was like, do you really though? You're gonna miss this, you're gonna miss that. Like, it was I was just at this constant battle with myself for months. 4 months. Now, mind you, my best friend that brought me into this business was also feeling the same way. And we were going back and forth, just like struggling with another one of our good friends, just struggling. Like, what do we do? How do we do it? How do we go about it the right way? Like, we've never experienced this before. As I'm growing this other business, my husband and I also decide to launch a social media management agency, because while I'm coaching all these women on social media, people are seeing the transformations, and now they want me to come in and do that for them. So my husband and I, we launch a social media management agency. We hire social media managers and we get them work, and we manage small businesses accounts, female run businesses, and it's amazing. So all these things are going so well, but then on the other side, things are just crumbling in this industry that I thought I was going to be in for life. And it was devastating. And I was scared I was going to lose friendships. I was scared I was going to lose credibility. I was scared of all these different things. And, when you put your name behind something for so long, you kind of accidentally allow it to a little bit become part of your personality. And I had to figure out how I was going to pivot that. And so I ended up leaving my company. Before I even resigned, a different opportunity was brought to me to launch a brand new company to the marketplace, to launch a brand new product to the wellness space, to literally help build a company from the ground up. And I was like, oh my God, this was the sign. And I just kept telling everyone, I was like, this was my big moment of being like, God will bless so much as long as you give him the space to. If you don't hold on to things that are no longer meant for you, if you're feeling a pull to go somewhere different, to pivot, to go a different direction, and you do it and then you are blessed, that's because whatever it was that you were holding on to was holding you back from God's blessings. And I truly believe that, especially after this. So I decided to go with it. I was like, you know what? I'm not growing at my current company. I was already 1 foot out of the industry, so let's see what this can do. And now I have this business that I've built with my husband and my business coach, 2 businesses now at this point, that I can fall back on if it doesn't work out. And it was just incredible. And I was like, this is exactly why. This is why I was having the pull to hire my business coach. This is why I was feeling the pull to start Elevation Collective, my coaching company. This is why all these people came to me asking for help with social media management, and that is ultimately what led us to opening the agency. All of this had to happen the way that it did. And it honestly grew me and established a whole different level to the presence that I had online. And so then when we turned around and started building out things and looking at what it was going to look like to launch this business and this new company in the network marketing space, when I tell you that my life, me and Cole watched our lives change overnight, it was because all of the things led to that moment. Me having to switch from personal training to going into that company full time, me hating my job and switching to personal training in the first place, me having to make the really hard decision to switch from personal training. Like, I cried when I quit my personal training job, you guys. I loved it. That led to this moment. And then also having to make the tough decision to decide to resign from my last company. All of these things had to happen in the perfect order for this ultimate life transformation. And so after all this time of coaching people, launching these businesses, having a lot of success over on that end, I quickly saw things kind of transition again. I'm a firm believer that you have to go where you're being called. I had just built these businesses and I was loving them and I was having so much success with them. My clients were having success, but then I have this brand new thing that is just absolutely blowing up in my face in the best way. And I was like, holy cow. And so literally within weeks of pre-launch, I had 100, 200, 500 people on my team. Then I had 1,000 people on my team. Things were just rapidly expanding. We went to Nashville for a pre-launch team event and I got to meet some of them in person, and just crazy amount of momentum and growth was happening on this end while I'm still like holding on for dear freaking life on this hand, but wanting to still keep my other businesses. So long story short, I basically spent the last entire year kind of rebranding and figuring out what I wanted to show up as online. And now I've been able to help other people do that. And I'm getting to help people that I missed. I missed helping people so much when I was in the fitness world. And when I left that, I had a huge like missing piece, I felt like. And so it was so cool because I'm launching this company that's wellness-based, longevity-based. It has to do with peptides. It's so revolutionary. The science is absolutely incredible. And if you know me, like I geek out so hard on that stuff. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is my moment to help people with finances. I can still help people with social media and their branding. And I can still use that part of me while also coaching people in the wellness space. It was like the perfect storm of just everything. And so as I was taking a look at everything, I was like, okay, here we go. I've got my agency. I'm still doing a little bit of coaching, not a lot, but I'm really focused on my agency. And then this Make Wellness thing, like this company, like we are taking off. I have to put so much of my time here. I have to go where the momentum is. I have to go where the money's at right now. And I have to go where the excitement's at. Now I'm in this space where I branded myself so specifically. When I started to feel that pull, I branded myself so specifically that I was able to make a pivot to coaching, build my credibility and authority there, establish myself as a person of knowledge there, and then again, pivot back into the network marketing space, build something absolutely phenomenal, bigger than I've ever seen or built or been part of before, all due to me taking the time to truly hone in on my personal brand, my morals, my values, and how I want to leave people after I have talked to them and coached them. It's just been the most incredible turn of events. Now being someone with knowledge in the fitness space, knowledge in the social media coaching and branding space, and also owning and running my very own social media management agency with my husband, I'm like, there's all these different, again, multifaceted parts of this brand that have come together so perfectly, and I have to tell everyone about it. We have now gone from making minimum wage at Starbucks to then making a little bit more than minimum wage at my desk job to making basically nothing at personal training, but loving every moment of it, to now this full circle moment of switching companies in my network marketing space. I went from making a normal, like good average income, and in the first month at our new company, the first month that we were paid, so after about 4.5 months of building this with no money coming in, that first month we got paid, I made 6 times more than what I made monthly at my first business, at my other company. And that was like such a life-changing pivotal moment. And then having that and knowing that the only reason I got to do that is because of the way that I branded myself and being able to pivot, I was like, I have to tell everyone about this. And this podcast is basically my way of being able to reach more people and help more people and really get the word out and get to share with people how you too can focus on building a personal brand, establishing authority, and really stepping into who you are authentically, because that is how you're going to leave a legacy. That is how you're going to grow. That is how your income will increase. That is how your impact will increase. And that is how ultimately you will have a legacy to leave for generations and generations to come. And that is like my why. I want to help people learn how to make money and how to build a life of their dreams simply by just being themselves. At my last company, I spent 6 freaking years trying to fit into a box, trying to make sure that I was this picture perfect version of myself, trying to do all the things to show up online in the way that I thought I was supposed to look. And all it ended up doing was burning me out and getting me stuck. I could not get past a certain income level. I could not get past a certain level of self-development. I couldn't get past a certain level of, in my professional career. I could not surpass these things because I was stuck, because I was showing up as someone who I was not. So I made it a goal when I started to feel this pivot coming, that I am going to show up as myself. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be raw. And I do not care if it rubs some people the wrong way, because those are not my people. I literally built a brand based on that and teaching others how to do that. and how to convey this in a professional way online, in a fun way online, in a sexy, attractive way online, right? So that then they could do the same thing. This is giving people power of the pivot. If you can give yourself a solid personal brand that is not built around something that someone can take from you, you will continuously, forever and ever, have power of the pivot, because you're building a brand based on someone that you are. You never have to worry about upholding an image that is hard to maintain. You never have to uphold something that's not authentic, something that doesn't feel natural. You don't ever have to worry about keeping your story straight, because you are just honest and real and authentic, and that will go with you no matter what you decide to sell, no matter what job you do, no matter what business you join, no matter what business you launch, it will go with you. And that is my why. So it turns out that things actually happen for you, not to you. Let's be a little cheesy for a second, because it's so true. When I felt this pull to leave personal training, I was so scared, you guys. I was so scared to go all in on this network marketing thing, because everyone's got an opinion, let's be real. Everyone's got an opinion. But guess where those opinions went once people realized I was making more than average income? Guess where those opinions went once people realized that I get to match Cole's schedule and that we travel like 5 times a year, whenever we want, without asking time off. All those opinions went out the door. And I just want to give that to everyone else. So I'm here to help you level up as an entrepreneur. I am here to help you level up as an aspiring entrepreneur. I am here to literally teach you how to build a personal brand, how to show up authentically, how to use all these things that people say are too much about you to your advantage, and how to step into those things with bold, badass confidence, and to tell people who think you're too much to get freaking lost, and how to do all of that while building a business and showing up as the best version of you and growing into the next version of yourself that you need to be to level up your finances, to level up your health, to level up just your being, to level up your business, level up your relationships. That's what this podcast is going to be all about. And over the past 6 years, this entire journey, but especially the last 3, has taught me exactly what I am here to do, and I just cannot wait to share it with more people. So thank you for being here. I'm so happy you're here. I hope a little insight into my story. I know this was kind of long, but I hope that a little insight into my story gives you some background on how I got to the point that I am, how I got to the point of even launching a podcast, and how I got to the point in business too, where I can train and coach and teach other people. That's the beauty. That's one thing that I really love about the network marketing space and the coaching space in general, is just like no gatekeeping. Like, I am here to literally tell you everything that's inside my brain and tell you it for free. Hope that then you can put together the pieces and you can turn around and implement that in your own life, so that we can all have power of the pivot and we can all truly go where we are feeling called by God, and where we know we're meant to be, and where our gifts and our assets can be used to the best of our ability, and so that we can reach our full potential, not only in business, but also as wives and as mothers and as friends and sisters and daughters, right? Like, that's truly where my passion lies. I just want to help us be the best versions of ourselves and elevate to the level that we need to be at to reach the dreams and goals that we have set for ourselves, and in turn make a huge impact on the people that we meet along the way. So anyways, that is my story. I can't wait to get to know more of you. Thank you for being here, listening to my first episode ever. I hope that it wasn't too chaotic. I did say that that's part of this though. Like, you signed up for this, okay? You signed up for a little bit of chaos. You signed up for a little bit of squirrel brain. Sometimes I'm super streamlined and sometimes it's kind of all over the place. So regardless of what that looked like today, I hope you guys got some value from this and you know a little bit about what to expect. I'm hoping to do weekly episodes so that you guys can meet me same time, same place every week, and we can chat and we can hang out and we can get to know each other, and hopefully you can get a ton of value from what I have to offer here. We'll talk soon. Thanks for tuning in to So On Brand. I hope you loved this episode, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, share it with your business besties, put it on the gram, all the things, you know the drill. I'll see you guys next time.